living inside a culture that's becoming increasingly feminized. That's what you see at every single level, from the family unit and the career ladder to the intricate legalities that govern our behavior and relationships. I want you to connect the dots, because in society's effort to tear down the so-called patriarchy, they're actually creating female-focused society where women directly benefit from emasculating men and their roles. And let me tell you how. First, look at it this way. Throughout all of human history, women have needed the protection and provision of men, but only in recent decades has there been a competition for this role. It stems from a welfare system that's increasingly undermining a man's place in a woman's life, rendering him obsolete. When you think about it, why wouldn't women prefer a setup like this? For millions of women today, including the 15 million or so single mothers, the state acts as the masculine provider with very few of the hard lines that come with a man being in the house. Things like loyalty, responsibility, and burden of expectations. It leaves little incentive for her to pick the right man and actually stick by him. And it gives her a safety net for all of her bad decisions, while the man falls by the wayside because he's now unneeded. Do you see the bad incentive structure it sets up? It's something you can track back to the mid-20th century, to the American welfare policy known as the man in the house laws. It was a straightforward measure used by the government to determine who morally qualified for welfare benefits. The question was, is there a man in the house who can provide financially? As you can imagine, the men in impoverished and desperate households faced one of the most humiliating choices ever. Find a way to make ends meet no matter what, or split from their own families so they qualify for government welfare benefits. Men had to make the hard decision to leave their homes and families so the government could then step in and provide. I can't imagine how emasculating that must have been for the man, being disposed of from their natural role as men and letting a government then step in and provide for their family instead. Imagine how hard it was for the man to almost act like that he didn't even exist, all while their women still had a solid provider in the form of a government check. You'll rarely hear about this in today's feminist reading of history, but the laws show us how women benefited from gender stereotypes because they themselves were not expected to be the providers.